Hello and welcome to Critical Reasoning, Philosophy 120, Cal State University, Dominguez Hills. This is for the fall 2011 semester. I'm excited to teach this course, and I hope that at the very least what you'll get out of it is a grasp of logical principles that will enable you to apply logical, cogent, and critical reasoning to a variety of activities and events and issues that you probably have encountered already in your life. Chances are that you have already engaged in critical thinking skills at some level, but have not necessarily done so entirely with self-consciousness. This course is designed to raise the student's self-consciousness about the manner in which an individual arrives at beliefs and believes in certain kinds of claims, such as, for example, whether or not UFOs really exist, or whether or not there's such a thing as Sasquatch or Bigfoot, or whether or not some of the things that you get in the media, including the internet, TV, and radio, are worthy of your consideration as a critical thinker. We're going to discuss things such as deduction, induction, cogent, strong, weak argumentations, and the course will culminate in a paper that you will be given every opportunity to succeed at completing. I provided in this course a variety of links to materials that I myself have constructed and developed, and also to materials that I believe have been thoroughly vetted, not only by people such as myself, but by my colleagues who are also philosophy and critical reasoning instructors. If you have any problem whatsoever with any of the materials, downloading, or anything else, please do contact me directly at my email, dborkman@csudh.edu. You will find it within our Blackboard course. Now, in what follows, I will take a series of screenshots and narrate them in order to introduce you to the navigation of the course. And of course, if you are already familiar with Blackboard, you're pretty much about 80% there. But as you know, all of your instructors probably do something just a little bit different in a courseware management system like Blackboard. And I suppose I'm one of those who have my own ways of doing things, but I've tried over the past few semesters to continually improve the nature of the course so that it is really intuitive. So that, in other words, your navigation will be, in fact, through this course, something that will resemble what I want to call common sense. In any case, I hope that you're going to have at least an enjoyable semester, that it will be a learning opportunity, and also I propose to offer a live virtual office hour at least once a week. It's optional. I want to emphasize that because I know that some of you take a course such as this because you're extremely busy engaged in other activities, including work, taking other courses, possibly raising a family, and all of those things. And of course, that's what the internet is good for. I don't claim that an internet course, by the way, is the very best way that a person could ever learn something, but I and many of my colleagues have tried to judiciously employ pedagogical principles that will enable a learner to succeed and also have a legitimate and authentic academic experience. Again, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to catching you at some virtual moment in one of the office hours that is to be scheduled up and coming. Take good care. Hello again, and welcome to Philosophy 120, Critical Reasoning for Fall 2011, Cal State University, Dominguez Hills. I am your instructor, Katie Borkman, facilitating this course, and in what follows, I hope briefly to show you how to navigate the course and give you some sense of what the general expectations will be. Welcome. If you're familiar with Blackboard, what I'm about to say will be of no great surprise to you. Along the left here, we have the navigation pane, and the navigation pane gives you links to the content and tool areas of your Blackboard course. From now on, announcements will be posted on a daily basis, practically, so I encourage you to log in as much as possible. We check the statistics of login for students, and do remember that I'm required by the university to count a student as a no-show if he or she does not log in with some regularity to the course within the first week or two. Let's take a look at the book area. At least click in on this area when you actually have the opportunity. You may be able to purchase the book online, and I would heartily recommend that you consider going to the publisher website
and taking a look at what the options are there. This will save you just a little bit of money. I recognize that you may have already purchased your book at the bookstore. That's fine. But there are other ways, and one of them is called Smart Choice. So you might want to take a look at that and determine whether or not you will find it in your best interest to go ahead and buy an online version or PDF version of our textbook. I make it available to you in consonance with the idea of affordable learning solution program. Was sponsored by the Chancellor of the Cal State University system. And it has been up and running now for about 3 semesters, and most of us are trying to get on board and provide discounts to our students with respect to our collaboration with the major publishers of textbooks. Another book to purchase is one that I and a colleague of mine actually put together. It's called Critical Reasoning Supplement for this course. There will be some quizzes and other things that will be related to this particular book. It is certainly not too terribly expensive, but don't get deceived by what the publisher has provided you here with the quote-unquote price being $0. Nothing in life is free. I believe the textbook runs approximately $23. The purpose I had in mind when I agreed to collaborate on this particular work was to provide people with a general understanding and orientation, not only to critical thinking, but to some extent to philosophy, which is the general category within which critical reasoning and logic actually appear. There will be a few quizzes on that, and I think you'll find that the book will be of some practical value when you go to try to make an argument. The primary activity that you will engage in is the culminating event of you doing a paper. It's a 5-page, double-spaced paper. I give you quite a few references with respect to how to do that paper, and I'd like you to get to thinking about a subject. Within the course, I have several links that will guide you and prompt you, so you might want to start thinking about that and not delay too terribly much. You may say to yourself that a 5-page paper is really not all that difficult, and indeed it shouldn't be, if you follow the format of what it means, as we will present in the course, as the course unfolds, to produce a good, sound argument, then you will probably be doing in a paper. So if you look at the relevant sections of the textbook on how to produce a sound argument, a good argument, a strong argument, then if you follow those guidelines and criteria, you probably will get a very good grade. Remember, it's extremely easy to copy and paste from the internet these days, certainly from Wikipedia and other sources. I do use what most people use, and that's the Turnitin Originality Report, which detects plagiarism. If you submit a paper that has an originality report or non-originality report in excess of approximately 30%, you will get a lowered grade. Remember that it is possible that a person can be dismissed academically if in fact they're legitimately found plagiarizing. So I'm just simply giving you a fair warning up front. And if you give plenty of time to yourself to be able to develop a good critical thinking paper, there should be no need for you to feel that you have to engage in any form of copying and pasting from other sources. The syllabus you can access by clicking here. It won't be necessary for me to click on that particular link, but you can do so, and I encourage you to download the version of the syllabus at your earliest convenience. Weekly lessons. If you click on this link, this is where you should get a series of presentations based upon each chapter that is in your textbook. So as you can tell, we have folders that we've set up for each of the chapters that are associated with Think, that textbook. And I'll click on one of these to give you an idea as to the general pattern of expectation and what you will encounter. I placed presentations, narrated presentations that are designed to try to enhance and augment an understanding of each of the chapters. They are primarily Flash-based, so you will need a Flash plugin for either Firefox or an Internet Explorer or Chrome, whichever browser is suited to you and is your preference. And in just about every single case, when you click on the little arrow that you'll see, then what you'll get is a welcome, in this particular case, Introduction to Critical Thinking, or something related to the subject matter of our text. Now, one good thing I like to point out to students is, unlike being in a live setting, you do have a bit of an advantage when it comes to actually having to sit down and listen to or watch one of my presentations, because you can actually turn me off. It's easy to do. There might be a slightly different control mechanism associated with each of the Flash presentations, but you'll still be able to have complete control. You can go back, replay, rerun, to your heart's content, Of course, it's up to you. I try to provide these things, since it is an online course, to simulate, at least to some extent, what it would be like to actually be in a live classroom or an on-ground classroom. And it does give you the opportunity to go back and review, and I encourage you to review as much as you possibly need to in order to prepare for quizzes and major exams, such as the midterm and the final. What is very helpful is the chapter objective section, and if you take a look at that, it'll give you what the primary things are that we are to accomplish in the reading and understanding of the chapter. Chapter overview, again, a basic outline. If you go through that actually before you read the text, it will probably help you. Unfortunately, because of the nature of our subject matter, you will not be able to get away with simply looking at the chapter objectives or the chapter overviews. So it will be necessary for you to, in fact, go ahead and read the textbook, either online, again, taking an inexpensive alternative to the purchase of a textbook, or in print. That'll be fine. I'm sure the question will arise, just in case there are any slightly older versions. I think there's only 2 editions of the Think textbook by our author, and I doubt that there's much variation between the two, so if you happen to luckily get a hold of a relatively inexpensive older version, it will probably work. And that, of course, is a critical thinking inference I hope I'm making based upon past experience. So there's some degree of probability that you'll be okay, but it's probably best to be on the safe side and get the current edition. Each of these weekly lessons has associated with it a quiz. And I'm sure, again, you're familiar with this routine. If you've ever taken a course online before, just follow the instructions, click on the quiz, and take the test. And you'd only want to take that test after you have read and tried to study the materials. Now, I have not put actually dates of extinction, so to speak, for the tests, that is to say, when they actually go out of existence. So you will have to keep yourself self-paced. This course can be a kind of self-paced course. There are different theories about how to operate distance learning courses. Instructor-led is one, student-centered is another, and student-paced is associated with student-centeredness. I prefer to have a kind of hybrid combo package. Clearly, I'm in the picture with respect to some opportunities for live synchronous Illuminate conferences or Collaborate conferences with you on a weekly basis. Optional, of course. And also, I've tried to provide some canned understanding there. If you are able to sort of, if you wish, kind of go ahead, I've prepared this course so that you're going to be able to do that in most instances. When the midterm exam comes up, the link will actually have the midterm exam in it. The same will be true of the final. The final exam will have a link. And also, when you undertake to deposit your paper in to turn it in, you will see a few weeks before the end of the semester a link on the navigation pane that will take you directly to the repository for your paper submission, and then it will be instantly examined and evaluated by Turnitin, and you'll get an originality report right up front. Communication is an area which allows you a variety of things, and I certainly don't use many of these things that are here. If the class wants me to create a blog, certainly we can do that. But here is where you're going to be able to regularly check your grades. Certainly with the multiple choice and true false tests associated with each chapter, you will be able to see instantly how you did, and thus it will provide you an opportunity to be able to prepare for each new exam. Hopefully that makes some sense. If you want to send me an email, you can also do it from here or from what will appear shortly, the instructor information contact area. And that will, too, be accessible from the navigation pane. Now, the discussion board. No online class is going to be fully complete without the opportunity for students to be able to interact on a weekly basis with each other. The very first forum is, technically speaking, optional, but if you have any questions after you look at the Blackboard 9.1 introduction, which is a version of Blackboard we happen to be using at this time on our campus, and we relatively recently upgraded to it, then my recommendation is for you to take a look under BB 9.1 forum and just see what the Blackboard people themselves say about Blackboard and its application, its utility, and take a look what the various functions are with respect to the kinds of tools, applications, and utilities you find in this really advanced courseware management system. The first couple of very important deadlines to try to strive for happen to do with week 1 and week 2. And here I ask you, after you've read a little bit out of your textbook, to take a look at this fine video by a guru named Richard Paul. He works for the Sonoma Critical Thinking Institute. Take a look at what the guru says about critical thinking and just simply respond or give your impressions about it. This is, technically speaking, just to warm you up for the class. I have 2 such things. I will have more videos on down the line. And try to abide by the dates. Now, I said something previous about being self-paced. In this particular case, you really must get your responses not only to what you see in the way of this videos or other materials that I've presented, like exercises and other questions that I'm offering, but you've got to respond to each other. Generally, the rule of thumb is respond to at least another student with a substantive comment. A substantive comment is one that is well thought out, reflective, and you should be picking up what it means to be a critical thinker as you continue to read the book. So what I want you to do is try to illustrate and exemplify what it means to be a critical thinker in everything that you do in this course. So that's the way in which I'm going to evaluate your work, whether it be in the format of a forum or in terms of an individualized written exercise, which I'll be asking you to do. Now, the assignment section will come up shortly, and your first written assignment is not due for about 2 weeks, but you will see the link to it again along the navigation pane. It'll be very clearly labeled, and it'll give you an opportunity to be able to write out a question or an answer, to a question that has been posed based upon each chapter reading. And there I will put due dates also. And that's principally the way in which the calendar for this course works. If you adhere to the due dates that are placed up in the forums as well as in the assignment section, then you're going to be just fine. Virtual office hour will be conducted once a week, and I can do it more often. One plan that I've had this semester is, frankly, because I will have a little bit more time within which to do this, is to kind of be online a couple of times a week so that you can log in. I'll put an announcement up as to my availability and access time. So pay some attention to that if you really believe that you need to have some special, tender, loving care with respect to questions that you need answered, if I can answer them, or at least guide you in the right direction. Could be about certain concepts and issues that arise, not only with respect to the mechanics of the class, but certainly with respect to the content that we're going to be discussing throughout the semester. The supplemental media component of the course will take you to a variety of links that lead externally from Blackboard to other areas of the web. The first one is kind of something I just did for fun, that I hope will give you more of a soundbite, particularly with respect to what we call informal fallacies when we reach that chapter. The critical thinking, really simple syndicated RSS feed you can find here, and basically you just scroll. So if you want to get a soundbite as to what an ad hominem argument is, or what we talk about when we talk about advertising ethics, and in many instances what I've done is simply put in a slightly different format what you will find in the weekly lesson section, but now here it is all in one centralized location. Something called Merlot Learning Objects leads you by a different avenue to some presentations that primarily are concerned with how to write papers. I have tried to extract the URLs, for example, to these links, such as how to write a philosophy paper and certain topics. You might want to take a really early look at that. And once again, I've got many, many different doorways, so to speak, into the presentations that I put up online to try to help you with your writing. So you will find a certain amount of built-in redundancy. And the reason for that is it cuts down on what we call in communication theory noise. The more redundant a message is, the more we can overcome noise in our transmission. And I'm sure you're familiar with the concept of noise. If you've listened to radio or watched a snowy picture on TV, I'm trying to overcome the quote-unquote interference. If you take a look at suggested topics, what you will find here is a list of suggestions I have for students. And I do probably have a couple little sarcastic comments about what to do and what not to do. But for the most part, you will take a look at the kinds of things. You're not restricted, by the way, to these topics, but these are the kinds of topics that you might want to consider when you set about to think about what it is that you are going to ultimately write about. That is really, I suppose, what I would call a major hurdle in this course. Your paper is a significant part of your grade, and consequently you should undertake to try to do a really good job. But of course, in addition to that, the midterm and the final are extremely important too. Now, when the midterm becomes available, it will be, again, approximately 8 weeks into the semester, halfway through, but I will give you about 2 weeks in advance a set of practice questions, a question pool, from which I will extract the questions, but I will add a couple of spontaneous questions that will require you to exercise your newfound critical thinking skills. So these midterm and final are both based upon your reading and the materials that have been covered in lectures and discussion threads, etc., and homework assignments. But I will add the element, I suppose, of quote-unquote surprise, but the surprise will be something that you can anticipate and predict. So it's not a complete surprise, but it'll be based upon your reading, and the questions that will be on the midterm and final, in addition to the question pool, will suffice to be able to allow me to determine that you are actually gaining something from the course. And if I feel that somehow there is a problem with the presentational materials that might be impeding your progress, we can talk about that. Library resources should be connected up directly here. This is just a convenience for you. You can get many research materials that might be related to the subject matter, particularly of your essay, ultimately your 5-page, I call it an argument paper. And I continue to reemphasize the fact that there will be an argument paper because it is at that point that many students, and I have done this, of course, myself in my previous academic careers, kind of put off major paper writing until the night before. It's highly probable that you'll not have great success with a good grade if you put off too much a good argument paper, because a lot goes into it, and the book will help you. The book Think and the book Critical Reasoning by myself and Professor Roth. These things will both help you achieve success and should enhance your writing skill. This is not to say that you don't already possess the necessary talent and ability and understanding to be able to produce a good paper. I just want to make sure that you understand exactly what the format is and what the content ought to be like, what the expectations are. And also, simply I hope to even enhance whatever positive and good and excellent critical thinking skills you may already have in a way of producing an argument and writing about that argument. I'm going to try to prepare a link to our virtual office. And what I'll do is you'll be able to click on that link when it appears. And we call this particular application by various names. Sometimes it's called Illuminate Live. Sometimes it's called Blackboard Connect. Either way, you'll see this come up. And again, the purpose of a virtual office hour is certainly not to intimidate you, but just to provide an opportunity to be able to have some synchronous real-time conversation communication with your instructor and possibly with those other students who may want to join in the conversation. Now, speaking of conversation, philosophy is actually all about the art of asking questions and engaging in solid argumentation. I like to think at the pure level, philosophy is about attempting to find the truth. Some of you may have been exposed to someone such as Socrates at some point in time or heard about him, maybe in a Philosophy 100 course or elsewhere. The paradigm philosopher for many of us is Socrates, and the Socratic method is one in which there is a dialogue that occurs between multiple people, sometimes between two, but often between more people. If you think about a forum as a kind of Socratic area or arena in which students are engaged in trying to understand each other and asking questions and responding to questions that have been posed, then that will be a good soundbite for you to have in mind. Think of a Socratic type. I do have presentations about that sort of notion, Socrates, and how to do dialogue. And I would encourage you to, when you have the opportunity, take a look at them and try to get a feel for it. You don't have to go through every single presentation and complete it to its entirety because they're set up in such a way that you should have 24/7 access, and you can always go back and pick up where you left off or review at your heart's content. I very much look forward to teaching critical thinking and treating of the issues that will arise throughout the semester. So please do feel free to contact me. And in the forums, by the way, I should mention before we part that my expectation is that you treat each other collegially, with respect, as if you were, in fact, face-to-face in a college classroom. Every time you enter something on a discussion board, it does brand your discussion with a timestamp and a date and your name. So you cannot actually reply to somebody or to a question anonymously. It's you must actually, when you log in, you will automatically be identified as a user of the class, and so therefore we will know who says what. And I keep it that way so that it will allow you the opportunity to be able to think seriously and respectfully about the kinds of answers and replies and dialogue that you'll be engaging in this course. So thank you very much, and I welcome you. And if you have any questions, you can email me, certainly, if that's more convenient, or you can drop in on a posted Illuminate Live Blackboard virtual office session. Good luck. I'm sure you'll do well. Let me know if you have any other concerns, and let's get this semester off to a very good start. Take care.